I just quickly wanted to introduce myself and the company, and the company is sponsoring this masterclass. So my name is Sharath Siripuram. I am with AgileFever. Like very quickly about AgileFever, I guess to see AgileFever, we are an AI-based company. We help folks. We're a tech company majorly focused on AI upskilling. We have multiple programs here helping out folks to upskill and get roles that are relevant to their jobs, and also make sure that during the AI era, you keep your jobs and make sure that you upskill. So there are two different types of boot camps that we're teaching here today with AgileFever. One is the Generative AI and Agentic AI boot camps. The role-based courses, which are 16 hours to 12 hours. For example, Gen and Agentic AI for project managers is one role-based bootcamp core certification that we offer. And there are multiple role-based certifications that will help you enhance your skill as any role person. And if you want to deep dive into AgileFever's boot camps, this is like end-to-end boot camps of what you want to do. Gen and Agentic AI boot camps, Gen AI boot camp only, AI ML engineering boot camp, ML ops, and data engineering. So we are ideally here to help folks transition into AI roles or AI augmented roles. We are working in this industry for more than 6 years right now. We have 4.9 rating, 150 cohorts, 16,000 professionals trained, 300 plus enterprise clients, and also 100 plus countries. So if you are looking for anything at that sort, please do let us know. We will be happy to help you out. With given said that, Arihant, today is the session on how project managers needs to upskill and why they needs to upskill and how AI is affecting their roles today. Over to you, Arihant. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharath. Hi, everyone. A very good morning and good evening, depending on the time zone you are in. So, my name is Ariyant, and I'll be the speaker for today's masterclass. So, I'll share my screen. Okay. So, today's masterclass, right? So, today's masterclass is basically on the project management side, right? So, how you can take the advantage of Gen A and agentic AI. You might be hearing this is very fancy term. This is very, there is a lot of buzz around the Gen A, agentic AI, LLMs, AI agents in the market. Now, if you will see in the job descriptions also, everyone is talking about that person should have experience on creating the agents. Person should have experience on creating the GenAI use cases in their companies. So that is what we are going to discuss today, like how the project managers can make the best use of it, right? So I'm assuming, like, since you guys have joined this masterclass, so most of you might be from the project management side. So if I'll ask you, like, how much time do you spend on daily basis, right, for the documentation part, for doing the follow-ups with your clients, with your vendors, right? So creating the PPTs, right? So creating the notes of the meetings, right? So you'll be saying, like, I might be spending like 20% of the time, 30% of the time, 40%, right? Some people might be spending 50 to 60% of the time. So so what we are doing, right? Instead of putting our time in solving the problem statement as a project manager, right? Instead of spending our time in solving the problem statement, right? We are more involved into the documentation part, right? We are more involved into the meeting sync up part, right? We are more involved into the basically, which is not a problem solving part, which is basically a general part. Okay. So this is where the Jenny and agentic AI can come into the picture, right? So what it can do, right? So for example, if you say that when you open your laptop in the morning, right? So you might be checking your emails, and based on that, you set your priority that I'll be doing this task on the first go, then the second, then third, and so on. What if I'll say, now you don't have to do it manually. We have the agents working for you, right? Which will be working 24/7, and which will align your task, right? Which will check like what are the different tasks pending in your bucket, and it will align the task. Okay, so this is the most priority task, this is the second priority, this is the third priority, and so on. Another thing is, like, you might be, right, so waiting for some update from the vendor, or you might be waiting for some update from your colleague or something. Okay, So what if I'll say that we have agents, right, which can continuously send the reminders to the team, okay, and instead of you chasing them, right, so there will be the agents who will be chasing them, and once you will get the response from them, automatically you will be notified, right, by the agents itself. Okay, so what?
Our names are covering the screen. The Q and star. You have to take that off.
Are you saying to me?
Yes, Arihant. On
Uh-huh.
slides, I see the mic icon, the Zoom one, the Zoho one. You have to pull that away.
Okay, okay, got it, got it. Yeah, thanks. Okay, thanks. Yeah. So what I was saying, like most of us might be spending some time to create the risk registries, right? So what are risk registries? Like if I'm creating a project, so what are the different risk I can expect? So as a human, right, so I might miss some of the risk, right, and it will be very lengthy task for me to create the exhaustive list of the risk. But what if I'll say that we have the application, we have the agents who can actually do this task for me, who can analyze the application, and who can find the different risk attached to that application. So as a human, I might miss some of the risks which are attached to that application, but our agent, right, it will explore all the different opportunities, it will explore all the different possibilities, and it will give me that list. Okay, so that is what basically this Gen and Agentic AI does. Right, so our roadmap of today's masterclass will be, so firstly I'll be spending some time on this PPT where I'll be explaining you some real-time use cases, right, so where exactly you can make the best use of it, and then I'll be talking about some practical implementation also, right? So stay tuned till the last, right? So because we'll be discussing some of the real-time problem statements also. I'll show you practically using the coding, okay, how you can create a end-to-end application by yourself. Okay, so most of the heavy work is what, right, creating the minute meetings, right? So you are having the meeting with your managers, with your teams, with your stakeholders, right? So after that, creating the minute of meetings, right? So that can be automated. Doing the vendor follow up, right, creating the Excel reports, right? So doing all those things can be easily done by this. The heavy toll of manual project administration, do you spend more than 2 hours a day managing the documentation instead of managing the project? The answer is yes, right? Almost all of us do this, right? So basically, AI will not replace the project managers, right? But project managers using the AI will replace the project managers not using the AI, right? Because for project managers, right, most of our time goes into the WBS, right? Creating the work breakdown structure, creating the project charter, right? Doing the cost analysis. Okay, so if you are not using the AI, if you are still using that old traditional methods of doing all the things manually, right, then that it will take you ages to complete the task. Right now, if the team is going to hire a new person who already knows this thing, Jenny and Agentic AI part, and if he is going to implement these things into the project, right now his task can be completed in 2 hours or 1 hour, and for that, the same task to complete for you, it will take like 1 day. Okay, and this is where it is mentioned like project managers using the AI will replace the project managers not using the AI. So learning the AI is not an option nowadays, right? It's basically a need of the time. Okay, earlier what used to happen, the past, right? So earlier there was a task manager, human used to execute all the tasks, right? It can be slow, it was slow, it was error prone, administrative fatigue, and so on. And it's not only about the project managers, right? So for each and every profile, right, whether you are a developer, whether you are a tester, whether you are a scrum manager, or anything, right, for every profile, right, now companies are looking for those persons, those people who can actually implement the agents, right, who can actually implement the AI into the existing applications. Okay, so for developers, how it is helping? By no writing the codes in a most optimized way and very quickly. How it is helping the testers, right? So by writing the test cases quickly, right? Even humans can miss some of the test cases, right? But it will not miss any of the test cases, right? It can explore all the different possibilities and it will create the test cases, right? The present is GenAI, right, where it will be prompt driven, right? You just need to write a prompt, right? I'll give you some of the examples, right, which I have seen many people are implementing in the companies, right? You all might be working on the Power VIs, right, or on the Tableaus or different BI tools. So there you show some analysis, right, some charts, right, so some dates or something. Now, based on that chart, right? So the end user has to interpret by himself, like what this chart is telling me or what this data is telling me. But what the companies are doing now, there they are doing some kind of risk summarization, right? They're on each slide, they're creating a summarization kind of thing, and that is based on the Gen AI. It will read the entire data from this dashboard, and on the same page, on the bottom right corner, right, it will summarize it. So that if I'm the end user, I don't have to put a lot of efforts in understanding that. Right now, just imagine this thing, right? You joined a company and you have implemented this solution. People were still using that old traditional method just to show the charts and other things, but you have came up with this use case where you have implemented this. Okay, so this is what the companies are looking now, right? They're hiring the new people who can optimize the existing processes, right? You're not going to create a new process, right? The existing processes are there, the existing dashboards are there, the existing projects are there. How you can automate those, how you can optimize it, how you can make it more easy, more accessible for the users. Okay, the future is agentic AI. I would not say future, but it's present only, I would say, right? So orchestrator means who can manage the different agents, right? Event driven AI continuously monitors, detects, acts autonomously without prompts, proactive execution. So what does that mean? You might be seeing that there is a role of DevOps also, right? Or a DevOps engineer or something. Okay, I'm giving you the examples from different domains, right? So that you can relate. I'm not going to give you only the example of the this project management, right? I'll try to give you the examples of overall different domains in the industry. Okay, so if you'll talk about the DevOps, right? So their main task is, right, to keep on monitoring the logs, right? If the application is working fine or not, right? Because their application needs to be run 24/7, right? So if application is working 24 fine or not, right? So there they are creating the agents which are continuously monitoring the logs. Okay, and if any error comes, automatically they are detecting the errors and they're finding the root cause also. For us as a human, it might take the time that why the error came, what was the exact error, right? So based on the experience, how much experience the persons will be having, it will take time. But what if I'll say you don't need a human for that, right? So you can simply create an agent, right, which can identify the errors, the root cause, and it will suggest you the solution also, right? Implementing the solution is different thing, whether you want to give that capability to the agent or not, but at least it will suggest you the solution. So what is that? That is again the example in the DevOps domain. Okay, so without AI, right? So when you get the email, right, we are migrating from SAP to this or this, right? So what do you do? Right, let's suppose you get a new project requirement, right? As a project manager, you get a new project requirement. So what do? You create a project charter, right? So you create the work breakdown structure, right? You understand the requirements, right? You connect with the team and you understand the scope of the project, deliverables, risk, milestones, right? Then you break down the entire project into the small parts, right? You create the Jira for that, right? So there are so many things which you do, right? And for that you take like one sprint, right? Or maybe 2 days, 5 days, depending on how much this is required. But what if I'll say that you don't need to do it manually, right? You can give the access of Jira. It will automatically update the Jira also. And there it will be written updated by AI or updated by this person, right? Automatically it will give you that comment. What if I'll say you don't need to monitor the email, right? So we have the agent which will monitor your email. It will extract the business requirement from that, right? So let's suppose if your stakeholder has given one project requirement, it will automatically read that, right? And it can convert that into the user stories, right? And not only that, then it will create the steps also that in the first sprint, we are going to do this task. In the second sprint, this task. Not only that, it will give you the timelines also, right? That this task can be completed in 3 days. This task can be completed in 5 days. Obviously, as a human, we can override that, but at least it will give me the base. On that, I can make the changes. So that is what the companies are doing now, right? So they are going more towards the automation part. They are going more towards the, you know, uh, uh, orchestration part, right? So autonomous agents part, where autonomously, right, all the things will happen in the autopilot mode, right? And we humans, right, just keep on monitoring it, okay, whether it is going in the right direction or not, right? Obviously we'll be having the access to override the actions which has taken by the AI. Okay, so on the left hand side, you are seeing without the AI, and here you are seeing with AI. Okay, so PM will be creating the prompt, right? Create a project charter for SAP S4 HANA migration, right? Review and edit. So here we can implement the human in the loop. Human in the loop in the sense human will review that whether it is fine or not. Right? I'm giving you the different ideas, right? As a project manager, how you have to think, how you have to bring the use cases. Okay, because this is what the companies are looking now, right? Even the appraisals in the companies are attached with the number of AI use cases what you have brought. Okay, so this is what they are looking for. So you have reduced the 1 day of work within 30 seconds, right? 30 seconds I would say is more very optimistic. You can say 1 minute, 2 minute, 5 minutes. Okay, so huge productivity gains. Instead of creating from scratch, the PM edits and reviews, right? Instead of creating from the scratch, now you have a baseline, right, on which you can create and modify. So turning the unstructured conversations into the actionable artifacts, right? So let's suppose you are having a 1 hour long discussion with your client, right, on the project requirement. So you keep on making the notes, I'll do this, I'll do this, I'll do this, right? And after the meeting gets over, then you try to recall, okay, what needs to be done, what needs to be done, and so on. But what if I'll say that we have the AI tools which can automatically keep on tracking, right, what is the discussion happened between you and the client, and it will create the notes also for you. It will generate the action items also for you, right? Like on daily basis, you might be having the team meetings, right? So there is a manager and there are 3 people working under that manager. So everyone share their updates, right? That is called as a scrum meeting, right? So what we have done yesterday, what we are going to today, and what are the bottlenecks and so on. So as of now, managers, they keep on making the notes that this is what the person one is doing, this is what the person two is doing. But what if I'll say now it is automated using the agents, right? Some of you might be using that also, right? That Microsoft Copilot. Okay, so which will summarize what has happened, what the meeting was all about, what are the action items on each on what person, right? So this kind of application we can also create. Okay, so this thing. So this is what it is saying. 1 hour client meeting audio, right? So GenAI will process it. It will create the meeting minutes, decisions, action items, right? With the owners and dates also. That's very important. Okay. So identify the risk, right? Draft the follow-up email also, right? If you want to send the email, like MOM, minutes of meetings, right? So that also you can send. So attending 10-minute meetings a week, reclaim 10 hours of administrative time, right? Because here also, you might be spending 15 minutes, 30 minutes, right? Just to summarize all these things. Okay, but that can be simply automated in a few seconds. So basically what we are discussing here, right? So how we can increase the productivity, right? So from the slide one, I'm talking about how we are increasing the productivity, right? So how we are reducing our time, right? So that is the first thing. And second thing is that how the Jenny and Agentic AI will give me the different ideas, right? For example, if when I was talking about the risk register, when I was talking about the testing agent, right? So we as a human might forget to write some test cases, but this will give me the different ideas. Okay. So ERP charter, AI auto generates the scope, objective, stakeholders, assumption, and this is what we cover in our classes, right? In our live classes, this kind of applications, what we cover, right? And our codes are in such a way that you can ready-made use those codes in the production also, in your companies also. Okay, so you just need to see, right, what are the tools your company is using. Okay, and you can reuse the same codes what we are going to cover, right, in your companies also. Okay, and many people they basically think like, I'm in the project management side, I'm a non-technical person, so how I'll be able to do the coding part and so on, right? The answer is nowadays no one is learning the coding. Okay, because your Microsoft Copilot, ChatGPT, you have so many tools which can write the codes for you, which can generate the codes for you. For you, what is important? The important part is just to understand, right, why the for loop is used, why the while loop is used, right? The basic understanding should be there, right? You are not the one who are going to write the codes from the scratch, right? The time is gone when we used to write the code from the scratch. Right now, the time is that we have an assistant, AI assistant, who is writing the code for us, and our job is to validate whether it is correct or not. Correct in the sense whether it is solving our problem statement or not. Okay, so that is how you have to learn. the Python part now. Right now, you are not the one who are going to write the code from the scratch and so on. That's why you will see everyone is learning the Gen and Agentic AI, right? Whether he's a technical, non-technical, manager, senior manager, right? In the leadership role, everyone is learning this. And it's not only about using the Python only you can create the applications, right? There are some no-code tools also using which you can create these applications. Okay, so that's why you will see it's not the game of a developers only, right? In the companies, if you will see, this is not the game of a developers, right? To create the Gen Agentic AI applications, right? Non-technical people, the HR team is pure non-technical. They are creating these agents, right? For the job description, for the resume screening, for hiring, right? For all those tasks, they are creating the agents for sending the automatic uh, notifications to the employees, right? For their mandatory trainings and so on. So that is what we are seeing here, how we can reduce the time from 4 hours to 5 minutes, from days to minutes or seconds, right? So how we can do all those things. Executing the deep diagnostics on the complex requirements, right? So you have a 200-page business requirement document, right? So, and this is very common. This is very common, right? So you have, that is called as the MDD, model development document. Okay, so you don't have the time to go through this entire entire document, right? So what you can do, you can pass it to the AI, and AI will summarize it, and it will tell what are the flows, right? For the managers, this is very, very important. In the company's managers, they have to review the task of their employees, of their reportees. Okay, so as a manager, because manager is also a human, he might miss that this was the mistake which the reportee has done, right? So they are taking the help of AI to identify the errors. So what is that? The accuracy will improve. Accuracy in the sense the quality of the work is improving, and secondly, the speed is increasing, right? When you join as a new employee in the company, so company gives you a lot of documents to go through so that you can get the understanding of the project, right? If you are a developer, they will give you the entire GitHub link, right? So where there will be like thousands and thousands of lines of code, right? And the expectation is that you should be able to, grasp that and give the output in the next 2 weeks, complete the KT in 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Okay, so people are making the use of these AI tools, right? So where they can use the GitHub Copilot, Microsoft, right? Copilot, right? Different tools are there. If you're using the Snowflake, we have the Cortex, right? If you are using the Jira, so there we have, right? So it means in every application now, they have implemented the AI part to improve the productivity, right? Even the negotiation becomes difficult with the stakeholders, right? Earlier, for a single problem statement, we used to take like three sprints, four sprints. But now the client says, why do you need 2 months for solving this problem, right? Just give the problem statement to the chat GPT, to the Microsoft Copilot. It will give the solution in 5 minutes. Okay, so that's why the expectations basically have increased for the stakeholders, right? The expectations have increased, right? So, and if you will lag behind, then your teammate who is well equipped with this AI, right, he'll take the promotions and other things, right? Imagine reducing a 2-day manual review by the PM and BA into a 30-minute AI diagnostic. Now you might be thinking, why I need to learn this, right? I can simply put all these things into the Copilot and I'll get the results, right? So why I should learn this course, right? So question is valid, right? The answer is your Microsoft Copilot cannot do all the things, right? It cannot automate the things. Okay, so for that you have to create your own agents, right? Which can be done in this, right? So that is one part, right? Any person can do all these things, right? Put the entire document into the Copilot and it will tell you. But can you give 200-page document? Because every LLM has its own context window, right? You cannot pass the 200-page document, right? It will not be able to understand. Okay, so this is one of the example. Okay, so synthesis across all platforms indicates the critical path shifted by 11 days due to the following factors, right? So you might have seen sometimes the scope changes, right? You started a project, there was a project requirement, you did a lot of analysis on that as a project manager, you created the scope, you created the objectives, you created the timelines and everything, right? After a couple of sprints, right, the scope changes, right? The scope changes, right? Maybe now the problem statement is totally different. Okay, so now after that, what you have to do, you have to do the scope change analysis as a project manager, right? In that, what you do, you analyze the costing part, because whenever you start a project, right? You do the costing analysis, right? How much is the burn down has happened, right? Or how will be burning our money sprint wise and so on, right? So how many resources will be required and all those things. So after a couple of sprints, if this has happened, so how you will do it? Again, you have to scratch your head and you have to do a lot of things. But what if I'll say you don't need to do anything? We have the agents. Just give the older scope and the new scope to that agent, and it will automatically give you the suggestions. It will automatically give you the ideas. Now your role will be just to review that and edit it, right? If you think something is incorrect, your job is just to edit it. And not only that, after editing, you can pass it back to the LLM also, based to the agent also, so that it can learn. And going forward, if the same kind of problem happens, right, it will give you the better results, right? It can learn from you, from his mistakes also. Okay. So this is the frontier of AI assisted project analytics, bypassing the manual hunt for data to get immediate and synthesize answers, right? So GenAI, the assistant, and Agentic AI, the autonomous driven, right? The difference between the GenAI and Agentic AI is, in GenAI, you simply give the prompt and it will give you the solution. That's it. Just like chat GPT. You give the question, it gives the answer. And Agentic AI is where it takes the decisions autonomously, right? Where it is not only giving you the solution, but it is giving you the, it is solving the problem also, right? So let's suppose if you say that I want to book a ticket, right? I want to book a ticket from, let's suppose I want to go for a 3 days trip from USA to Canada, holiday trip. So it will, so there will be multiple agents working for you. One who will be checking your hotel bookings, one who will be checking your flight tickets, right? One who will be checking the tourist destinations in that particular country, right? And so on, right? And one who will be creating the itinerary, right? It will do all those things, right? And that is what we can implement here. And your job will not stop here, right? Your job will be to apply the guardrails also, right? Guardrails in the sense that no one unauthorized person is accessing your application, right? So those are also implemented here. That is also what we see, right? Now see, so the proactive coordinator that never sleeps, right? Morning dashboard, when you log in, right? When you open your laptop on a fresh Monday morning, you have to go to the Jira also, you have to check your emails also, you have to check your calendar also, you have to go to your MS Teams, right? Your pings and other things, right? What if I'll say you can create an agent, right, which can monitor all these things, right? And based on that, it will tell you that out of all these tasks, these are the 3 critical tasks which are overdue, right? 2 developers are overloaded, because as a project manager, this will be your task to assign the work to the teams, to the members, right? You or the scrum manager or this thing, right? Budget exceeded by 8%, right? Vendor approval is pending, 5 blockers require your escalation, right? So just imagine you have opened a laptop and you are getting these things. These are the priority items for you. So instead of you scratching your head and going through the different platforms and finding like, this is what I have to do, this is what I have to do, you have got like a summary, right? So this is what the PM didn't ask, the agent knew what they needed to know, right? So you might forget that budget, I have to check the budget also, but it will give you the this thing that budget already has exceeded by 8%. This is a red flag. Okay. So automating the entire change request flow, right? So client emails a change request, client emails this change request, right? Detects the request and calculates the cost timeline, automatically updates this. Okay, so this is how it goes, right? So triggers the employee unexpected resigns. Okay, so this is an agentic AI workflow, right? Let's suppose a critical resource in your team has resigned. He's a critical resource, he's a developer. Okay, so agent will be there who will automatically search for the same skill set in the internal organization, right? IJP, internal job posting, right? So then checks the schedule for availability, updates the master project schedule, books the knowledge transfer sessions automatically, creates onboarding tasks for the new resource, and notifies the manager. Everything automated. Just imagine. Okay, so all these things can be done in this, right? So it can check your health sentiments also, right? Your health in the sense, not your personal health, but the project health. Okay, so project health means your Jira, your GitHub, your Teams, your emails, your ServiceNow, right? So all should be in green, right? All should be in the green, in the RAG status, right? In the red, amber, green, everything should be in the green part. Okay, so till yesterday, right? Till yesterday, in the sense earlier, right? We used to spend 20% time, right, on the actual task and 80% on tracking, updating, and administration. But now this 80% should be taken care by the AI, right? And your job as a project manager is to work more on the productive task, right? So where you are giving some fruitful results to the company. Okay, not the admin part, right? Like updating the Jira and these kind of manual activities. AI doesn't replace the project manager, it replaces the project administration. The future belongs to the leaders who focus on the human element. Okay, so the tale of the two PMs, one is the analog, one is the AI augmented PM. So after learning this course, you yourself can call that you are a AI augmented PM, right? Project manager, right? Not only the PM, but AI augmented, because you can implement the AI solutions in the existing projects. In the existing projects, you are implementing the AI solutions. Okay. And trust me, a lot of visibility comes, right? Because obviously these are basically the niche roles, right? If you know the AI part, right? So company, without bothering, without checking anything, they will hire you, right? So okay, now I'll show you practically some of the use cases. Okay, I'll not go into the coding part. I'll not start explaining the code. I'll just give you a small demo, right? So how it is used and how you can implement it. Okay. Now, one example I'll be taking for the uh, right. One example I'll be taking for the this thing GenAI, and one example I'll be taking for the Agentic AI. Okay, so here, if you'll see, we are going to use the GPT models. Okay, first I'll show you the output. Okay, and then I'll show you the code. Okay, so now this WBS generator, what is this WBS generator? This is the work breakdown structure, right? So this is the work breakdown structure. Work breakdown structure in the sense, if you are a project manager, right, you might be doing this thing, right? So you get the requirement, you break the task into the multiple, you break the entire problem statement into the multiple task. Okay, now see, right, for the demo purposes, I have taken some three projects, right? One is the e-commerce, one is the mobile banking, and the hospital management, right? Let's take about the mobile banking app. Okay, so let's suppose you are working for a mobile banking company. Okay, and this was the project scope, right? Develop a mobile application where the features are fund transfer, bill payments, notification, transaction history, and your management has given you the timeline of 6 months for this, right? Obviously, you can add some more information. Whatever information you have, just keep on adding it here. The more information you will add, the better work breakdown structure it will create. Okay. Now just click on the generate the work breakdown structure. So internally, what is happening behind the scenes? It is calling the LLMs, right? So just like I was showing you, we are using the GPT 5.2, right? So in the same way, whatever the LLM you're going to use, that will come. Okay, so ultimately what it will generate the entire structure. Okay, so it takes like 30-40 seconds. So let it take, then I'll explain you. So here WBS means work breakdown structure, right? So if a if new project starts, so you have to break the problem statement into the multiple stories, right? And which story is dependent on what, right? So that is also. Yeah. Now see, now what it is doing, right? It will tell what are the different phases in this project. The project was this, right? What are the different phases we have in this? Okay, now see, this has created the exhaustive list of it. Okay, the first phase is initiation and planning. Okay, so in this is the one, right? 1.1 is project kickoff and stakeholder alignment. So here it is telling you that it needs 5 days, right? So basically this thing should need 5 days. Okay, then second is define scope, right? What is the scope? What is the objective and success criteria? Now it is telling you the dependency also, that for solving this or before starting this story, right? So the dependencies that it should be completed. Okay, so this can tell you those dependencies also. Then the third one is develop the project management, right? The schedule, cost, resources, right? Risk, compliance, security. So all these things come under the first point. So I have not defined all these things in the coding part, right? In the coding part, I have just simply mentioned that create the WBS. And who is generating all these things? Our LLM is generating all these things. Okay. And yeah, further we can improve the quality of this, right? If you think that it is giving too much of days, right? So I can give some examples to it so that it can refer to those examples, and based on that, it can create the relevant duration, right? So it is giving the duration based on its understanding. Now, second is the requirement analysis, right? So this one, right? Now, see, these requirements are based on this one. So because it's a mobile banking application, so it will be giving all the examples related to the mobile banking. See, login, dashboard, transfer, bill pay history. On the other hand, if you will create something for the HR, let's suppose, right? So then it will give you the relevant information for that HR only. It's not like this is a standard one and in this all the projects will giving the same thing. Though no, right? It is customizable, right? It will give you the different. It is dynamic basically, right? Depending on the different problem statements, it will give you this thing. Okay, for architecture and design, define the architecture, right? Define the data model and transaction ledger approach, and so on. So this is the entire thing which it has created. Okay, and you can download it also, right? Just click on the download and it will be downloaded. Now if I'll show you, right? Now see, right? Now it has created the base for me. Now as a project manager, I can further customize it, whatever I want to do. Okay, so I'm sure you guys might be doing this thing who are in the project management side, right? And you might be spending a lot of time in doing this thing, but it has created a ready-made template for me. Okay, I can further enhance it if I want to create a short summary of it, like what exactly needs to be covered in this, right? I can simply give a simple prompt in the code and it can give the description also that what needs to be covered in this, right? So if I'll mention the teammates also, right? What are the different teammates we have, right? Teammates in the sense who is the developer, who is the tester, who is the coder, and all those things. So it will assign those tasks also to that person by checking the assign task to him, right? What are the current tasks which are assigned to him, right? You can assign the task to him. So means in whatever way I want to customize it, I can customize it, right? So this was the first project, right? If I'll show you quickly the coding part, okay, we are using the OpenAI model, GPT model, and if I'll show you, right, the prompt, right? So this is the prompt we are giving. You are an experienced PMP certified project manager. Create a level 3 work breakdown structure, right? Create a Gantt chart. For each work package, provide phase, task, duration, dependency. So phase, task, duration, dependency. That's what it is creating to, right? Return only the valid JSON for this, and this is the format, right? Project scope. That's it. We are giving only this prompt. So this prompt is going to the LLM, and it is generating that part. Now, if I want to further customize it, that create the team member assigned also, right? Do this thing, so it can do all those things. So this was the first project. This was the first project, right? Now I'll quickly move to the second project, right? If you have any doubts, right? So maybe you can note it down, right? So after completing the second project, then I'll discuss the second other doubts also, guys. Now this is the scope change analysis. Okay, scope change analysis. So just like I was telling you in the beginning of the class, not in the beginning, but in when I was explaining the theoretical part, sometimes it happens that after we have started a project, but after a couple of weeks, after a couple of sprints, the requirement changes, right? And that new requirement is not in line with the existing requirement. So that means that is the wastage of time what you have done in the last 2 sprints or 3 sprints. Okay, so then your role will come, right? Then the management will say to you, do the change scope analysis, right? How much costing it will do, right? How much more time we need to do to complete the task, how you will allocate the task, and all those things. So again, it's a headache for us as a project manager. So can we have the automated approach? The answer is yes. And what is that? This is this agents, right? So this is the agentic AI architecture here. The previous example which I showed you was Gen AI, and this is the agentic AI. So why I'm calling it as a agentic AI? Because here we'll be having the different agents working on the different tasks parallelly. Okay, I'll show you. Firstly, I'll show you the output, then I'll explain you like why I'm calling it as a agentic AI. Okay, so right, so basically all these things we cover in our live classes. Okay, so you'll get a lot of ideas also by yourself by doing these things. Okay, so in your company you have to start thinking like how I can implement it. Okay, now see, this was the original project scope. that we have to create a e-commerce platform which will be having user registration, product catalog, shopping cart, and payment gateway. Okay, obviously in your real-time company, you might be having a detailed description, right? I have written a small description here. Okay, but requested scope change, right? So that we have to add some new features also. What are the new features? Product recommendation, multi-language support, and voice search, right? So all these three are AI related all these three are AI related changes. Okay, so every company is looking for this, right? That is their marketing strategy. How they can embed the AI into their existing applications, how they can embed the AI into their existing applications, right? So that they can simply say AI powered, AI enabled, right? So that is their marketing strategy to stay on the top of the market. Okay, so in the existing application, right, they want to add these things. So based on that, they want to do the scope analysis, right, or budget analysis. Now see, what is the scheduled impact, right? Added duration is 6 to 12 weeks, right? So it is suggesting that because of these changes, we might need to add 6 to 12 weeks, right? And how the breakdown will happen? AI product recommendation, right? Data modeling, algorithm, this multi-language support, this will be required in 2 to 5 weeks. Voice search, this one, right? Additional QA UAT hardening, right? 1 to 2 weeks, especially for multi-language this, right? If done in parallel with enough staff, right? Expect closure is this. If the teams is small or sequential, this one, right? Because we haven't given that how many developers are there in our team, how many testers are there. So that's why it is giving you the bigger range of +6 to +12, because it doesn't know that whether the people will be working parallelly on this, or whether only a single developer is there who will be doing all the things sequentially one by one. Okay, so if you will give more details that I have 3 developers, right, and these are the priority set, so all the 3 developers will be working on this, and this will be the priority. So then it will give you the duration in this way, like 6 to 8 weeks, right? Not such a big window. Okay, so that is what we have to understand. Now see, it is telling you what is the schedule impact, what is the budget impact, right? Budget impact is added budget 25% to 60% over the original, right? So engineering effort, testing cost, ongoing translation, right? So means we might miss any of this cost, but it will give us the ideas also. Resource impact, right? Additional or extended resource needed for the AI production, or for the AI recommendation, because we suggested 3 changes. Okay, so one data or ML engineer is required, one backend engineer, one front end, and one is this. For multi-language, these people required. For voices, this thing is required. So summary in plain English, this, and what are the risk introduced, right? What are the risks which can come because of this, and what is the final recommendation, right? Whether you want to approve or disapprove, right? So based on this, right? So see, it has created such a detailed documentation. Now you would be needing 1 week, 3 days, 4 days to create this, but it has created within 5 minutes. Within 5 minutes, it has created. Now, if you want to change it, definitely we can edit it, right? And the benefit is that it is giving us the ideas also, that what are the different issues which can come. Right now, I'll quickly walk you through the this thing, right? So what is the prompt we are giving, right? You are an experienced project manager, right? Original scope, give the estimate, right? So this is the first agent, right? This is the first agent. This is the another agent, right? Risk management expert, right? So this was a project manager. This is the risk management expert, right? This is a PMO review board member, right? So means different agents are coming into the picture and they are creating. Okay, so I'll stop it here, right? And I'll just quickly reiterate what we have covered in the last 40-50 minutes. Right. So what we have talked about, right? So the role of Gen AI and Agentic AI. Right. So what we have talked about, right? So we have talked about the role of Gen AI and Agentic AI in the project management side. Okay. So we have talked about like how you can optimize your work, right? How you can increase your productivity, right? By putting less efforts and working more on the, more fruitful part, right? More productive part, instead of doing the admin work. Admin work in the sense sending the chaser emails, creating the documents, creating the PPTs, right? Doing the follow-ups and so on. Okay, so all these things basically you can automate it using this. And then we have discussed a couple of examples also, use cases also, and then I have showed you 2 practical implementations also, guys. Yeah. So I'll stop it here to take the doubts if you have any. And over to you, Sharath.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Again, it was a great session. So we're looking forward for any questions if you guys have. Meanwhile, I'm going to go ahead and launch a poll that we have. But if anyone has a question, there's a Q&A tab. You can go ahead and put your question there, and then we can go ahead and unmute you and help you ask your questions, folks. So there are a lot of folks in here. Anyone has any questions? So we are coming up with the session in next few days. It's 100% confirmed session. If someone would like to leverage the session and attend it, please do let us know. But if you have any questions, feel free, you guys. We have 10 more minutes. I can unmute you if you raise your hand also. I guess I have a first question. Will the materials be shared? I missed it. Yes, though this recording will be shared with you. Definitely, yes. Shruti. How can you set up the entire thing? Arihant, this is more for you.
Okay.
Tanmay has why set up
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. So Tanmay, it depends whether you are doing with the pro code or no code, right? Pro code in the sense which I have shown you today using the coding part. And one is no code. No code in the sense where we use the no code tools where you don't have to write the codes. So if you're going for the pro code, then you have to set up the VS code, right? You should have some basic understanding of the Python, right? And you have to install the GitHub Copilot, right? You should have the GitHub account. Basically, we'll be discussing all these things, right? In our live classes, there are different tools which we have to download, and based on those tools, we can use it, right? All the tools will be open source, no paid. The only thing is we have to just purchase the API key that will cost $5 to $7. That's it.
So
Tanmay.
we will teach the entire thing in the class of the 12-hour project management. Can we use a prompt that you showed us in the VS Code? Kiba showed. Can we get the prompt? Okay. Can we get the prompt that you used in the? Yes. Yes. You can share the. So prompt. Do you have the prompt, Rihan, that you can share with the?
Yeah. So that was a sample prompt, right? I'll show you that prompt. Okay, or maybe in the chat window, I'll give that prompt. Okay, so in our course, we cover the prompt engineering also, right? So which will help you to build these prompts also, right? How we can build these prompts, because these will be uh, dynamic, right? So for different problems, it will be different prompts, right? No worries, I'll share it here.
Okay, so in the course there are more than 8 use cases. So please take. Yes, so Donald, we can share you the complete. That is just related to the PM only. So we have 12 hours of curriculum. I could probably put a link in here to start with, but then also share you this. If you go to AgileFever.com, we have a Generative Agentic AI for program and project management. So that's where we have. This is a 12-hour. We would recommend a prerequisite of 6 hours that we can offer you, but you can find the course in here.
Yeah, I've given the prompt in the chat window, Hiba.
For the pro coder, can we change the prompt and generate OP as well? Correct. Okay.
Yes, we can do that. Yeah. Yeah, we can do
That,
that.
that's right, Kaushal. The prompt is shared. Okay. Okay. Are there any questions, folks? We have a few more minutes. If you're not specific to project management, we have a lot of other courses to specific roles also. If you see here, if you go to AgileFever.com, there is role-based AI certifications. So, Generative Agentic for project management, what we're talking about here, business leaders, security engineers, full stack developers, QA and test. We promise to cut at least 10 hours of work time in your week, at least 10 hours in any of these courses, at least 10 hours with AI, if not more. So let's see if you have any assuming questions. Any other questions, folks? So we have answered all the questions that has come. Aryan, just so folks understand, do we need any technical expertise for this? The coding?
Yes, basic Python programming. Sure.
Basic
So there
pricing.
are
Okay.
there are
The one that we share, Python for AI.
yes, that's correct.
Okay, the 6 hours. So guys, yeah, I want to build my agent. Can you arrange that type of class which we learn how to build our own agents? Yes, so that is taught in the project and program management if you want to create your own agent, or if you want to deep dive just in agentic and agentic AI. So we have a different boot camp here that says, Gen and agentic AI boot camps. Okay, so it's clearly all about creating how our agents created, what are the different ways of creating agents, and what goes into doing it. How do you do without code? How do you do with code? How do you do with cloud? How do you do with cloud? So this is an intense program. This will be helpful for you to create any kind of agents, not just project management, program management, but an agent that can be leveraged for any use cases. So this is entirely focused on agentic AI and creating agents. So we talk about a lot of frameworks here. This particular program promises you to become a job ready also, which means you also get with the job readiness program. We make sure that you are able to go and give an interview with the knowledge that you gain here. That level of intensity this particular course has. And that question is for Hiba. So our team will help you with so if let me go and ask her to talk. Hiba, is that question answered? Let me ask you to unmute you. And then we can go from there. Yes, Hiba, I request you to unmute yourself. If you have a follow-up question, we would be happy to answer your question. Are you specific to like project management, program management, or are you actually looking to master the agentic side of it, create agents? That's a follow-up question for you, Hiba, on the question chat that you put on there. Okay, either way, we're going to send the details to you. You can unmute yourself and speak if you would like to. Hiba Chaudhary. But if not, great, we can move on to another people. Okay, so guys, just so you understand very quickly, if you're looking for high level or just role specific courses where you can cut down 10 to 15 hours of time in your actual work week, I would suggest you going on to role based AI courses. But if you would like to deep down on agentic AI or DevOps or ML ops or LLM ops, then there are different boot camps that we offer for you guys, which is intensive boot camps that is very focused on the specific area. So Gen and Agentic AI Bootcamp, ML and LLM Ops Bootcamps. All of these are live classes taught by top-notch trainers who are actually working in the organizations right now implementing this. So I would recommend that path if you are looking for an upskilling, because upskilling of AI at this point is not an optional thing. It is a mandatory thing, but it's just a time of when do you have to do or when do you want to do. So if you have any questions, please do reach out to us. We are almost at time. 1 minute to go. We will take one or two more questions if you have any. Tanmay, I would unmute you. Just a quick, you can ask your question. So I'd like to understand. Why is it not giving me an option to unmute? Quickly, being from a non-coding background, which program course is best? So I'm not sure why I'm unable to unmute you, but see, the program and project management is a good start if you're in a project management area. If not, Gen and Agentic AI Bootcamp will be a great one to. We will help you out once we are done with this. Some reason I'm not able to unmute you. That's weird. So the basic level of programming knowledge that is required is basic Python. You don't have to be an expert at Python. There is about 6 hours of recorded class that we have, but we call as a prerequisite for any AI course that you guys are doing. So it gives you a good understanding of the few libraries that we are talking about, like pandas and numpys and all. So which is easy to master without any technical expertise that you have. Either way, these days the code is written by Gen and Agentic, the Gen AI tools. So you don't have to be a coder. All you have to know and do is ask questions correctly to the Gen AI. So it gives you the prompt or code, and then you can just copy paste. So you don't have to be a good coder, or you don't have to be a coder at all. It's a good part. So okay, Tanmay has got his answer. Tanmay, one of my team members will reach out to you to help you with more questions if you have. But if there is anything else, we would be glad to answer, folks. We will take 2 more minutes. If not, then I would wrap up. Okay, so Hibba says the bootcamp is also so informative for me. Thanks a lot. Sure, that we'll share you the brochure and stuff, and then we can also give you a call to understand if you need anything else, or just walk through on your roadmap. One last time, folks. Any last questions? Okay. Thank you all. Have a great rest of your day, everyone. Thank you all for being here. Thanks, Arians, for speaking for this event today. I will end the meeting right now. Happy weekend, folks. Have a great one. Bye, all.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.